I'm good.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? So in today's video, we are going to be changing the harmonic balancer or crankshaft pulley on a Mercedes-Benz S-Class W220, more specifically the M113 engine, but this works on most Mercedes engines. So you see that's the harmonic balancer, the crankshaft pulley, and you see that damaged rubber right there. When you see damaged rubber like that on the harmonic balancer, it's time to change it. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. All right, so for removing the harmonic balancer, we're going to use this 3/4 inch breaker bar from Harbor Freight. This is the Icon version, and pretty much what we're going to do is just attach a 27mm socket, and I chose the deep socket right here, and let's put this bad boy on. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, is a 1/2 inch okay? And I'll show you what the 1/2 inch looks like. So this is a 1/2 inch compared to the 3/4 right here. So you can see right there that this is the size difference. Now, the 1/2 inch might work for you. It might not. I didn't want to take any chances, so I'm using the 3/4 so that we can get this job done quick and easy and efficiently. So let's get started and crack this nut on this harmonic balancer. All right, let's do it. This is the tool you'll need to change your harmonic balancer or crankshaft pulley. Buy this one. Link will be in the description down below. All right, so now we're going to take our harmonic balancer tool and we're going to place it inside of our harmonic balancer or crankshaft pulley. And you can use some wood or you can just rest it along the chassis. Either way works just fine. All right, so we have our 27mm socket and we have our harmonic balancer tool in place, and now we're gonna just remove this bolt. One thing I do want to mention is that what I did to removing the bolt is I stacked a bunch of wood blocks onto the aluminum cross member, the crossbar, and when I go to tighten it, I will use a bar or like an extension tube of some sort. So my recommendation is that you can use a extension tube either way, and you can use the wooden blocks, but either way will be fine. So now let's go ahead and remove this bolt. And it's very, very important that when you're removing the bolt, the engine doesn't reverse counterclockwise. You want to make sure that the engine stays tight when you're removing the bolt and that all the weight and pressure is on either the aluminum cross member of the frame or on the wooden blocks. All right, so we have our 3/4 inch breaker bar and we're going to go ahead and break this nut loose. All right, let's do it. And it's slipping a little bit. This is on tight. I'm gonna put my boot on this sucker. That is on there, folks. All right, let's see here. Whoa. Okay, let's see. Good. I'm good. Gonna put some towels here. Wow. All right, let's see. Maybe we can add some more leverage here. I think that worked. Nope, still got some more to go. Let's see. I think it's loose. Alright, so I have to reposition the harmonic balancer tool and get everything lined up again so that I can get another good pull on it. But the bolt's already broken loose. It's just pulling it loose now the rest of the way. And hopefully that... There we go. Alright. We're in business, folks. If you have a radiator that you're not going to replace, be careful. You don't want to damage those fins. There we go. Now it's super loose. We're good. Alright. We got her done. She's loose. And now we can remove the bolts. And there it is. This bolt for the crank pulley, harmonic balancer. Alright, so now let's pull this harmonic balancer off. And is there a... Cool. Let's pull this harmonic balancer off and remove the seal and put the new one on. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, so we don't need a puller, which is awesome. And you can see there's some oil right there and everything. So now the most important thing is to pay attention to where this woodruff key is on the crank, because when we put the new harmonic balancer back on, then we're gonna have to really make sure that we line up this slot with the key so that the engine doesn't just spin. And you can see up close just how bad this rubber was and how it was cracking and everything like that. So, yep, it definitely needed to be replaced, and we're going to replace it. All right, so now that we have our harmonic balancer removed, or balancer pulley, now we're going to have to remove the oil seal that's behind the harmonic balancer. And I would recommend using this seal puller. I'll put a link down in the description below. This helps out a ton and makes this job super easy versus using like a screwdriver or something like that. But you want to be very careful so that you don't mar the inside of the engine. But you'll see once you look at the engine seal that it's kind of hard to do that if you just keep the point close to the seal and you don't really go deep into the engine. So you can see right there, it comes out really easily. And if you have some dirt around your engine like I did, then just be very careful not to get any dirt in the engine and you'll be all set. So now that we have the seal removed, you can see that's what the engine looks like. And I would highly recommend to just clean that area really well because you don't want dirt going inside of your engine. So now you can see there's that woodruff key that I was talking about earlier. So you want to pay attention to where that lines up. And you can just take like a mental reference, you know, to like where it lies on a clock and then line it up. Okay, so now we have our new seal and you can see we're just going to go ahead and put it in the engine without putting any oil on it. You do not want to, you know, coat the seal with oil or anything like that. You want it to be dry. Then get a mallet, something around the same size as the seal, and lightly tap it in and make sure that you seat it evenly. And then when you tap it in, make sure that it sits flush once you're finished. So you can see right there, I'm just taking my finger and I'm making sure that the seal is flush with the engine. And that's what we want. And once it's flush, we're good to go. And then we can start putting on our harmonic balancer or crankshaft pulley. So you can see right here, I'm putting some oil on the harmonic balancer. This is kind of personal preference. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. I chose to, but again, you can see right there, there's that woodruff key location. So we're going to remember where it was on the engine, and then we're going to line it up and start from there.
and then we can kind of just turn. You can see I'm kind of like rotating it back and forth or left to right just to make sure that it's in there. And once it's in there, I'm testing it to make sure it's not spinning, it's not moving, and that's how I know that it's lined up and it's seated. And once it's seated, now we can put our crankshaft or bolt into the engine. So you can see the OEM one had some Loctite on it. So I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of blue Loctite just to hold it in there. But again, that's personal preference for y'all. You don't have to do that. It's just something I'm doing. And now once that's hand threaded in there, then we're going to torque it down to 200 Newton meters. And after that, we're going to go 90 degrees. So if you have a torque wrench that, you know, goes to 250 foot-pounds or maybe like 300 something Newton meters, I don't know the exact conversion off the top of my head, but if you do, I wouldn't recommend taking it to 90 degrees after you torque it to 200 Newton meters. That's just my preference. So you can see here now, this is a very important part. You want to get some sort of protractor or something, and you want to mark your crankshaft pulley tool. And what I did was I put 2 marks at 45 degrees. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double that, right? So I'm going to go 45 degrees, right? And then I'm going to reset and do another 45 degrees. So you can see there, I'm using a ratcheting wrench or a ratcheting ratchet, and hence the name. And you can see just tightening it to 45 degrees is really a struggle, and you have to do that twice. And so you'll see here, like, I'm really putting a lot of effort into this. So if you were to have, like, if you were to try to do this on your torque wrench, you could damage your torque wrench. So it's something to keep in mind. So now I'm on the second part of this 45 degree tightening going to 90 degrees. So this is the second, I'm starting back, and now this is the second part. And you can see it is just really tight. It's really scary because I kind of, you know, I'm like hoping that I don't snap the bolt, but I actually had to switch to my 3/4 breaker bar just to complete it, you know, just to get to that 90 degrees, folks. But you can see right there, it's tough. It is on there. And we finally got it done. Everything's tight now. And that bolt is good to go. We can remove our crankshaft pulley tool. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. And I'll see you next time.